I'm headed to Spain later next month.
Spain, yeah?
Yep,
Really?
yep.
Are you gonna go see the Grand Hotel?
No.
It's on that peninsula? No, it's a really a cool,
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
it's
I
a
wasn't
really a
gonna
cool,
say anything.
it's really a cool,
Where's
thing.
that at?
They have
You
a
were
TV
telling me
show
about
about it, yeah. It's on some peninsula there, but it's, that's the first place I'd
Well, it's all on a
go.
peninsula there, Iberian Peninsula.
That's the first place I go besides the place I land.
Some of the best restaurants in the world are in Spain.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good
There's
foodie
one that it's like,
place.
I think it's been named the best in the world, and it's, you have to walk down an alley. And I mean, it's a nice clean alley, but it's still an alley, and then you turn, and it's just, there's the
What city's it in?
Madrid, I think,
Madrid?
maybe.
Never been to Spain, but
It's
I've
on
been to
the
Oklahoma.
Chef's Table, that Netflix.
No, I haven't watched it.
It's the one that's the sky, and they just kind of follow how they.
Pretty close.
Then I see all these restaurants, I'm like, I wanna go there.
Yeah.
You're on.
Please take this off the size of my yard.
Not right.
You can Can you come mow around it for me?
It's not a lowercase t, is it?
Just don't throw your equipment out in the street.
That's not true.
Call the meeting to order. Invocation?
Let us join in prayer. O Lord of all of life, in the recent days we have paid homage to our mothers, and it makes us mindful of our families and the families in this community. Families that come in all kinds of different makeups with single parents and two parents and even more. Some with children, some without children. And we're also mindful of senior citizens in this time as National Nursing Home Week is observed. So keep us mindful of the variety of people in our community. We pray for the commission as they go about their work, give them the wisdom and insights they will need to provide a community that is a good place for families to live, for seniors to spend their years also. We pray for the city workers as they go about their various tasks. We particularly are appreciative of the work that has been done by city crews and helping to fill in all those potholes and all that have developed over this winter, and know that work continues. So it's just we give you thanks for the city staff and all the work that they do. We give you thanks for the commission and their attention to the needs of this community, those things that will promote life here, will make this a good place to live, good place to work, good place to do business, a good place to visit. Hear our prayers, those that we have spoken and those that are on our hearts this day. This we ask in the name of the one who came not to be served, but to serve. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor and Commissioners, we do have an amendment to the agenda this evening. We're going to add a proclamation for Poppy Day immediately following the Motorcycle Awareness Proclamation, and we will also delete the audit presentation from the action agenda tonight. Neil was unable to be here. They're actually getting audited, so we'll have him on the agenda for sometime in June, and at that point in time, he'll give the presentation and you'll approve the agenda or the audit. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
I have a motion from Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second from Christie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Proclamations. We have, the first proclamation is the Motorcycle Awareness Month. Is there anybody that wanted to say anything before I read the proclamation?
We're just here to represent A-Bait and the American Legion Riders
Mhm.
for the proclamation.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you. The proclamation, whereas motorcycle riding has become a popular form of recreation and transportation for many people in Concordia, Kansas, and whereas in order to promote safety, there is a growing need for cooperation among drivers of all motor vehicles, and whereas it is especially important that drivers be aware of motorcycles on our streets and highways, and whereas during the month of May, all street and highway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the city of Concordia. Now, therefore, I, Mark Matthew, Mayor of Concordia, Kansas, hereby proclaim May 2019 to be Motorcycle Awareness Month. We ask all motor vehicle operators to unite in this effort to keep our streets and highways safe as motorists and motorcyclists share the roadways of our city. Thank you. The next proclamation is the Poppy Proclamation. Did you want to say anything?
No, not really. I'm gonna do it at the 24th. I'll be out at Walmart as far as I know. And I'm gonna put a little tick in here. The 25th is on Saturday, and I'm going to take over Vicki Roberts' place, putting out the little flags on the grave.
Uh-huh.
And I would love to have all the help we can get.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Doris.
Poppy Proclamation, whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. Whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. Whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Mark Matthew, Mayor of Concordia, do hereby proclaim this date, May 24th, 2019, as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial flower on this day. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the official seal of Concordia this 15th day of May 2019. There we go. Public comments.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're welcome. Welcome. Thank you. No public comments. And the budget meeting is not, budget meeting dates, we want to discuss those for, okay.
I guess first, do the dates that were presented in the first part work for everyone? Because we could just do those, or did anybody have a conflict?
I'm good with
I'm
that.
fine.
I'm fine.
We're
Are you gonna
fine.
be in the country, Christie?
Did we catch you in the country?
I'm checking.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
saw this earlier, and I think that it's, I think those will all work for me.
Okay,
They're all Wednesdays, right?
no. Monday, Wednesday, and then
Oh, Monday,
Tuesday.
Wednesday, and Tuesday.
Monday and Wednesday of the first,
15th.
the same week, and then Tuesday of the next week.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
Okay, and note that the first one is at 3 and the last one's at 3, but the second one is gonna be after the meeting.
Okay.
Because I couldn't do 3, so. All right, that was it.
Thank you. Action agenda, minutes for the May 1st meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 1st meeting?
So moved.
I have a motion from Sam. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Keaton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Minutes approved. Appropriation ordinance number 9. Do I have a motion to approve appropriation ordinance number 9?
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 9.
I have a motion from Keaton,
Second?
second from Christie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approval of the use of TIF funds for gas main extension.
Mayor and Commissioners, last fall, you authorized the sale of a portion of land in the South Development, which later resulted in the development of Dollar Tree. They've got some earthwork happening right now, so they're getting ready to move forward, which is very exciting for us to have some buildings going up out there. One of the things that we did advertise that land as all utilities ready to the site. As we were getting closer, we realized that not all utilities were ready to the site. We were missing the gas main. I can't really speak to the rationale of why exactly. Kind of learning as we go. One of the things that I'm learning is that a lot of times we need to know the demand of what the gas is going to be to know how much main to extend. This could have been foreseen a little bit because we've got commercial zoning there, so we can generally estimate about what demand commercial zoning may result in. Because all utilities were advertised to the site, the developer did not include a clause that they normally do in the contract, which is that the landowner would provide those utilities to the site ahead of them purchasing the land. They were under that impression that it was already there. So we're trying to find a way to fix that. We worked with Kansas Gas, and typically the way that they work is based on the estimated demand. If they can recoup their costs for infrastructure investment within a certain time frame, in this case 7 years, they don't charge the customer anything. In this case, based on the demand of the development of the south half of Lot 3 only, they're not able to recoup that investment of about $11,000. And so working with the developer and Kansas Gas, talked a little bit with our staff too, understanding that we did a large investment in this area already to get utilities ready to make these sites ready to develop. And we're that gas main short. We're $11,000 short. Talking with Kansas Gas, we do have the opportunity to recover a portion of that. About, I think we said a little over $6,000 or $7,500 worth of that we have an opportunity to recover, making our net investment about $4,100. Talking with Kansas Gas this week, if the north half of the lot develops within the next 7 years, which our contract says it needs to develop in the next 5, or it reverts back to us. If it develops in the next 7 years, we can use that consumption to also contribute toward our rebate. So there's a chance that we could actually recover more than that $7,500 investment. Understanding that the Dollar Tree, the developers of the Dollar Tree lot, on that whole Lot 3, it's estimated that they're going to pay about $25,000 a year in property taxes. We feel like this is a reasonable investment to make to finish out the intent, which was to provide utilities ready to the site for this lot. So one of the solutions that staff came up with is let's go ahead and use TIF funds. It's a TIF project. We talked with our bond counsel that was involved in the setting up that project, the Skyline 3 project. And his interpretation is that this is an extension of the Skyline 3 project, which then we don't have to go through the whole brand new process of notification and starting all over the public hearings and that sort of thing. It's an extension of that, but because the initial amount is over $5,000, and because the City Commission must authorize the use of TIF funds, we're asking you tonight if we have your permission to go ahead and use those TIF funds as the investment, knowing that we'll recoup a portion of those costs and potentially the whole thing if that other half of the lot develops. Are there any questions?
TIF won't go away, will it?
No, actually, it's been kind of interesting. We've been learning a little bit more about that too. And with each project that you work on with TIF, from the time that project starts, you have another 20 years to spend the funds. So no, it's going to be around for a while. Yeah.
Now I'm talking about, we had the discussion with TIF, we're gonna do the sewers in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met with people and we decided, let's just stick it with blight, that's what the purpose of it. And now we're turning right around and changing what we agreed to before.
It's not the same,
Yeah.
because really it shouldn't be used for alleys for the most part, but this is truly economic development in what we're doing out at Dollar Tree. So that's what TIF's for.
No, it's for blight, is what we had it for.
Both. It's actually for
Both, it's for economic development and blight, so.
And the TIF funds were what was used to originally put in the utilities and make this area that was Skyline 3 available and ready for development.
And as I recall, we knew that it wasn't completely ready for development, that there would have
Okay.
to be some extension. I don't know, I think that's accurate.
Okay.
So I think we anticipated that this would happen, but we thought it would happen earlier than it has. We were hoping that it would happen earlier than it has. So
Okay.
it seems to me that it's an appropriate expenditure of the TIF money.
We're talking 11,000.
Yes.
Which we recoup.
We may recoup all of it.
We may recoup all of it, and if we don't, then after about 8 weeks worth of taxes, we're at ground zero. We're good, we've got it all recouped.
If we recoup that money, then does that have to go back into the TIF?
It
Fund?
should. I believe that's what Kevin had said, is that it needs to
Okay.
go back into the TIF fund.
Okay.
Yes.
I move to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Kansas Gas Service to extend the natural gas main at certain South Development retail lots using TIF funds at an estimated cost of $11,678.25.
I have a motion from Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second from Christie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Building Trade appointments.
Did you get Reynolds is in there? Yeah. End of this month, a couple of positions, James Reynolds and Luke Hood's position on the Board of Building Trades expired. We're always looking for volunteers. That position, Luke Hood is a HVAC, or no, electrical one, and James is a general contractor. And they both expressed interest to serve again. They've been serving for a while. I think James has been 2 terms and Luke's about 4 now, I think.
Is it really?
That's a tough board to get people to serve on, so I recommend that we reappoint them.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move to reappoint James Reynolds and Luke Hood to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I have a motion from
No,
Chuck.
Board of Building Trade.
Building Trades, I apologize.
He's just reading what he was given.
What's that? Board of Building Trades. Board of Building Trades.
Okay.
Second.
Second from Keaton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruno. Managers report. Anything going on?
A couple different things. We've been talking for the past few weeks about some repairs that are needed at Broadway Plaza. And we met with, Bruno and I met with Jessica today. Bruno had done some investigation with Kerry Stupka, which is the original contractor on the project. A couple of things we went ahead and authorized. They were under the spending limit. One was repair to a leak in the ceiling in the concession stand area. Another one is kind of a depression in the grass in front of the stage where a lot of people walk, and it's starting to dip and it's ponding of water. So water is our enemy when it comes to a lot of building structures. We want to make sure that we're protecting our structures. There was one piece of that puzzle that we're kind of still discussing a little bit, and our estimate is over my spending limit, so I wanted to kind of get some consensus or thoughts, feedback from you tonight. In the area on the southwest corner of the plaza, behind the concessions building to the south of the stage, that back area, it's all grass right now. And it was initially constructed with drainage to go toward the front of the stage to a drain that was installed. That area of ground has settled a little bit. We have some ponding of water there. It's backing up against the concessions building, against the stage, and against the building next door. And so we need to find a solution for it. One of the solutions that we've come up with has been to concrete that area. We have trouble getting grass to grow there anyway, and to help us create some drainage flumes to send drainage to the proper areas where it needs to go so it can get into the storm sewer system. My question for you is, would you prefer to go ahead and have us authorize with Mr. Stupka to fix that? Since, again, he was the general contractor on the project, and he's gonna be doing a few other smaller repairs out there anyway? Or would you prefer us to put this project out to bid and get some input from general contractors in the community?
Was the leak in the roof, is that covered under warranty?
We don't know yet. We have to do some investigation. We did look at the warranty, and if the roof is actually leaking and that is the cause of the damage, then yes, it's covered under
Okay.
warranty.
Okay.
What else could it possibly be?
What would we decide? Some condensate of some
I
pipes?
think it's water.
Could be the actual pipe that brings the conduit, they call it, that brings the water from the roof drain system down into the storm drain system through the building, but goes directly to the storm drain, but it's most likely, I would hate to say this, but it doesn't appear to be the pipe, because it would be running down the pipe if it's the roof that's dripping away from the pipe.
Elsewhere.
A little bit. There's a lot going on right where it leaks. There's a scupper, a roof drain, and the overflow drain, and all the flashing right there in the corner. So it's just a little problem area. It's not a serious leak, but it's one that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely.
Now, would a better fix for the pooling on the south side of that, is there a drainage that we can tie in and put another drain tile there to drain the water off back into the system versus water shedding it off the concrete?
That I ended up not bringing with Coke here because you did some investigation there. You guys know
It
better
would
than
have
I do.
to be, the sprinkler system has to be re-sleeved and a longer sleeve in case you have to pull the sprinkler pipe out of there, so that's some of the cost. To have the sprinkler company come in and re-range that and eliminate the mess and move ahead. And the other thing is you'd have to cut concrete out to get the drain to the draining system, I believe.
So there's no drainage in the grass area part?
No, it's designed to drain over the grass and onto the concrete and then on into the
Okay.
drain from there. And you know how grass settles against concrete
Right.
sometimes, and then it becomes a dam, and I don't think there's any way to stop it because it's a high trap. People just naturally wanna go that way, and then the dirt's always down. And then
Okay.
where that air conditioner is, the same thing, it's just sitting right there, and then it's barren, from water standing, so.
Okay.
That's one of the solutions. You probably could do that, but then you're sacrificing some concrete that you'd have to put back, I think.
Mhm.
I don't imagine much sun hits that grass anyway, does it?
Well, it's just an area that's, with that air conditioner always blowing, I think in the
Yeah.
summer that gets dry all the time, and then I think them heads would have to come on every 15 minutes to keep it wet right there. In the summer, I gotta imagine, I think that little PTAC unit's running constantly,
Yeah.
and that's what's drying that out, and then
Yeah.
Is there a way of removing grass from that area and sloping it back towards like the alleyway to drain into that tile and then just, planting some bushes, making it more of a, I'm not a big fan of putting concrete everywhere. If we could fancy it up with a few bushes and, lay some rock and tile it that way, and yeah, put some weed screens down.
You still, the major issue, I think, is water standing against the neighboring building.
Okay.
That's the main thing, and the design of the building, the restroom building, the steps coming off there designed incorrectly. They flow toward that building, but then they try to flow back toward the drain in front of the stage. And so you got a conglomerate of drainages coming into one area, and then when the dirt settled, it just constantly holds water right there.
Okay.
You could maybe get by with a little less concrete, but we thought it'd be okay if people are gonna walk back there and we beat a trail through there,
Right.
which is happening now. We thought we'd go 5 feet beyond the building, and that way the slope would almost be ADA acceptable too. All you would need would be a handrail and you'd be ADA acceptable, so you could have an alternate path back around there.
Okay.
Jessica wanted to concrete the whole thing, get rid of that grass patch, so you guys decide on the aesthetics, we're trying, I understand what both sides do, but I like the green space too, but that is a
Right.
constant problem, I think, and
Okay.
you could put a drain, I think that's a pretty good idea, there are grassy floor drains, but they're
Should've put
harder
an
to
extra
maintain.
turf.
Right.
That's why they put them in the concrete, I think, on this deal.
Yeah.
And we also got a little area in front of the stage where it does this and it holds 6-8 inches of water when it rains because it won't get onto the concrete because people stand there.
Right.
They won't go onto that hot concrete with their bare feet, but they'll stand in the grass. So when they're watching an event, over the 3 years, it's kind of beat a depression there. So that's one of our fixes too, is to fill that back and get it to drain to the concrete.
Christie, was there ever, when you guys were discussing the plaza, was there ever a consideration for artificial turf?
There was, and we decided against it.
Okay.
I think it was mainly financial, but honestly, from my perspective, I like the grass.
Now you're paying somebody to mow it and stuff.
Yeah, I know, but it's so much more
Yeah,
friendly to be on,
yeah.
especially, I mean, in the afternoon, it's hot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hot over there, and so it's
It was,
cooler.
we were, met over there at the contractor, and there, it was a bunch of people enjoying that. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. There was kids running all over.
So what do we think it's gonna cost, to do that, to fix that?
We have an estimate, we know it'll be under 10, I know it's over 5, I don't really wanna share the estimate that we have, because then if you wanna go out for bids, then we end up in the same situation that we
Yeah.
did the year
Right.
before,
Yeah.
so,
But it's in that zone.
yeah. So just looking for some guidance, if you want us to go with, Kerry, we can go with him, if you want us to go get quotes from other contractors, we can go that route. We just would appreciate some guidance on this.
Do we need, I mean, do we need engineering? I mean, I know nothing about the drainage thing. You can figure it out?
It's just a simple slab-on grade that's gonna be raised a little bit at the, what we're calling the wash building, next door building.
Okay.
So that the water deters.
Yeah,
away
'cause I
from
don't
it.
wanna-
Right now, it's deterring all the water right toward there. It
Yeah.
just sits right in that corner, and it's gotta be loose under there. I mean,
Yeah. We don't wanna get in a situation where we're destroying what's left of the basement wall of that place.
It's actually in really good shape now.
It is.
Because they've redone it after the.
Yeah, I know a lot of the ones that I've looked at.
Retucked one, it
Yeah.
looks really good, but that's what they're worried about now, is that,
Yeah,
you know, moisture on a limestone foundation eventually will eat something. It'll
Yeah.
eat away the mortar, eat away, if you keep it dry, it'll last
yeah.
200-300 years. You
Yeah.
know, depending on the, so that's my concern, is just getting rid of that problem.
Well, I think probably in all fairness, we should, fairness to us and everybody else, I mean, I know Stukas did it, but I think, we probably should put it out to bid, I suppose. I mean, I don't know, what do you think?
I can agree.
I think from a due diligence standpoint, or a fiduciary standpoint, I mean.
How soon does this need to be fixed? I mean, is this something that can wait until fall,
We're
or?
gonna have to, because Jessica, you know, his original proposal was to try to take care of this between June 4th and May, July 10th or something like 5th, in 1 month. And Jessica said, no way, that's the busiest
That's-
time.
yep.
Full.
He wanted to rope off some areas, you know, to fix this and rope off.
I suggest we do it during Fall Fest.
I did.
Yeah, that's a good solution.
But
a second.
the other side of that, and I did confirm that with him this afternoon, is in that time period, you can do about anything, except for maybe it could be too hot and too dry sometimes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when you start going in October 1, there's usually always an opportunity to place concrete during, you know, even in through the winter.
Yeah.
You know how it was last
Yeah.
winter. Hopefully that's not the new norm, but that was kind of a rare deal, but he didn't seem worried about that at all. He thought there'd be opportunity. It might be a longer time period if you get this freak snowstorm or something.
So when we do the bid, ask for bids, can we ask for a certain time period when that would be, when the work would be done?
Before Fall Fest, and then they can, I guess
Well,
you can put a deadline. when you
Yeah,
want it.
what we talked about today was, starting no sooner than October 1st, being done by November 13th. That's 2 weeks longer than what Kerry had proposed to do the entire scope of work, and we're reducing the scope of work.
Okay.
So there's a larger window of opportunity there. The fixes that we asked him to proceed with, we also asked him to wait until October to do those fixes too, because some of them were gonna interrupt some of the work that Jessica, the events that she'd already had booked there.
Is there anything we need to do between now and then to provide a temporary resolution to where we're not having water pooling there?
Take the spring, is that
If it doesn't rain too much, we might be okay.
but the underground sprinkler, does that run right there too? Is there an underground sprinkler head right there?
There's sprinklers everywhere.
Yeah, we should-
It seems like if
we
you
should
look at
cap off
map,
the
it's
sprinkler
Yeah,
a
for
system. I mean, it
temporarily.
seems like this, they're everywhere. You can't find them, but on the map there until you really dig, but, yeah, there's gonna be sprinkling every day, I guess. I don't know how the schedule is on the sprinkling.
Just seems like it, yeah, if we can, we can't control the rain,
Yeah.
despite what some folks may think, but we can control the sprinkler heads,
Yeah,
so
I don't know
I
that
think
it,
we'll at least cap it off there.
if it's, yeah, I don't know if that it's set up to
Run certain
sprinkle with
zones.
humidity, you know, if it's raining out, if it just if the sprinklers go when it's raining, like you go by some yards, if it's pouring rain, the sprinklers are going.
Yeah, some of them have rain mode, and I imagine that one probably would have, because it's new enough, it probably should have a rain setting where there's a sensor.
Right. The only time we seen it, well, Jeremy, doing the wetness there, so went down there, I didn't realize it was that bad, but it was after that massive amount of rain. I
Yeah.
imagine the regular sprinkler system on normal conditions probably doesn't affect it, but it will, I mean, it'll just slowly get worse, but.
We can look at it then and
Yeah.
try to find a temporary solution to help mitigate the problem between now and then.
If possible, we're aware of it, we.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Alrighty.
so do we need a motion then to,
No, this
No,
is just some guidance, and then what
Okay.
will happen then is we'll go out and we'll get some quotes, we'll come back to you, and then you'll have to approve the quote at that point in time.
sounds good,
Thank you, Brenda.
thank you.
Do
Thanks,
have,
Bruno.
have one other thing to share with you. If you got the press release, if you got my text message, if you got the emails, we're really, really, really excited. Every Wednesday we sit around department head meeting and we talk about our wins for the week. And so this week I'm really excited to announce that our win for the week is getting $6,950,000 from the FAA to put a new runway in, rehabilitate the taxiway at Blaster Municipal Airport. So very, very excited about
Yep.
that. We'd applied in October of 2018, competitive grant process, just got notification today. Definitely a team effort, as you saw written in the press release, a lot of different folks involved. Those that had an opportunity to mentor the high school students, I know you probably shared with your high school students the same as I did, that persistence is very, very important, and keeping after stuff that you're really, really passionate about, as are relationships. And I think that this is one result of persistence and relationships with a lot of different folks. We really appreciate that. Large construction projects tend to have a significant local impact too, in addition to just being able to benefit the airport itself and benefit the businesses, as we talked about, existing expansion, new ones coming in, supporting our local hospital through a safer providing of an air ambulance service. But even during construction, there's a saying that says for every new dollar that comes into a community, it'll turn over 4 to 6 times. So one new dollar could end up being $4 to $6 rolling around in your community, which is awesome. So those contractors that are coming in, hopefully some of them are local, they get to benefit from that. Then they go out and they may buy a new car, they might get a new set of tires. Those that are from out of town will come in, they'll eat in the restaurants. Those folks will benefit from those businesses, and it'll just keep rolling and compounding. So we're excited to see a large project happen here in our community. Very, very, very excited about that. Trying to think. This is the project that is going to lengthen the runway to 3,700 feet. It's going to widen the runway to 75 feet, and that sets the stage for us to handle a little bit larger aircraft. So that's really important to know. We mentioned several people in the press release today, and just like to share again with them. Steve Richard and Jason Rourke on our airport advisory board. They're very instrumental in making sure that the pilots that use the airport now, their voices were heard in management of the airport. They were instrumental in helping out with the establishment and the update to the airport master plan that this project was based on. They also accompanied Ashley, they accompanied, Sam and I went to Topeka and talked with KDOT Aviation, and the staff members there helped us and guided us a little bit too, and listened to our passionate oration about why we needed to have this happen. Ashley and I had gone to Kansas City and met with our regional airport planner, Jason Knipp from FAA, and talked with him and shared with him a little bit more, helped him to know and learn and understand a little bit more about rural airports here in the community. And Jason is kind of our first gatekeeper to get to go on, so it's very important that he's on board with us. Brad Waller of Alfred Benish and Company has been our airport planner through the master planning process. So he prepared all the documents in the submittal and made sure all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. And then Representative Roger Marshall and Senator Jerry Moran both have been out at our airport at times, and I appreciate all those of you that were able to go out there with them to be able to see the good things that are happening out there. And then Senator Elaine Bowers and Representative Susan Kincannon, they've also been helpful with us in trying to make those connections with those relationships and make sure that we're pointed in the right direction as well. So we really appreciate their efforts and appreciate all of you in allowing us to move forward with the project. Probably the significance of this project is this is supplemental funding to the existing airport improvement program. As you know from past projects, typically the funding we get from the FAA, we have to do a 10% local match to. This is 100% funding. There is no local match required, and we could not have done this on our own very easily. We would have had to make some sacrifices elsewhere in the community. And we are able to do this project without making those sacrifices to the rest of the community. So that's very, very important. Are there any questions?
I look back and we had to have made an impact in the meetings that we did have, because I got a phone call from Jerry Moran and talking about other things, and we specifically had a conversation about the airport. And he was, he was really concerned and wanting, he was really a supporter to actually do a follow-up and to talk about it. And he's, and everybody else just did a great job. And like you said, it was a great team effort. And whatever we did it right,
It was very good. Like I said, team effort on everything, and huge kudos to Ron. He's our resident overseer of the airport to make sure everything is kosher. And this past year, he took on the airport fueling station, and that fueling station is critical to our operations. It helps to bring visiting planes in and out. It helps those that keep their planes here make sure that they can get the fuel here too. And that was a big undertaking this year, and just making sure that we're in compliance with everything that we need to be. So.
First
It's
thing
really
that pops in
important.
my mind is our conversation with KDOT, that gentleman. And they said, yeah, if you can get this, we can do something and add that extra few feet onto the whole thing once it gets going. So I hope that's something that they remember, that they told us, and they
That would
would,
be helpful. That
and they
be
would
really helpful.
examine that situation too, because that would be the icing on the cake right there.
yeah.
It would be. At this point in time, where we're at is now we have to wait for official guidance from the FAA to know what the next steps are and make sure we're following those steps in order. Initially, when we applied, what they told us is that with the second round of funding, it was applying for funding in 19 and 20 for projects that could be ready to go then. I don't know if those rules of the game have changed or not, but that's kind of the plan. So hopefully we'll start to see some movement on the project in the next couple of years. But again, this is federal money, so it's going to take a little bit long time. We have to plan.
Exciting.
It is.
All right. Any other questions for me at this time?
Great job.
No? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks. Staff reports?
Before we do that, I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry, I did think of one more question. What do we know, I'm sorry, Amber, what about the,
Amber, sit down.
what about the pool? What's going on with our slide?
Well, it was not installed by May 15th. We know that. The contract still says May 23rd. Amid all of the excitement that we have, I did not get them called back this
Okay.
week to find out. So that is on my first thing to do list in the morning.
Can we start filling it and have it filled and we can still put it in? Okay.
Just makes it more challenging for them, but they're fully aware that we still need to maintain a schedule for opening.
Well, and we need to have that filled so that lifeguards can get
Yeah.
their training, so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
that's true. So if the pool is filled, when they come to install the slide, they're gonna have to find a way to work around our water. And they can do that. They've done that before.
Thanks, Amy.
Yep.
Amber?
I just want to give you budget books for this year's budget, and then we'll start talking about next year's. This is the pretty, I mean, you already have the budget, but this is the pretty version.
I had a hard time going to sleep last night.
Yeah, this is really exciting.
Okay, set. Okay, mayor and commissioner comments. Sam?
What was not encouraging press release was the one about the cemetery. And I found it a little disheartening because the Legion's doing such a great job putting this up, and the donations and everything else. Although I was somewhat sympathetic because of the fact that some of the tombstones, if you look where the pole is, you could actually lean against the pole if you're looking at one of the graves. And I think that's wrong, unless they want to hang a seat on it and then they can sit down and look down. But the ones that are further apart, I think we're fine. Somehow I think we should have, the city, as a city, and we are the stewards of their loved ones. It should have done maybe a better job at looking at some of those tombstones. I mean, these are close. I mean, they're real close. You can't even squeeze in between, or barely. And I think we should have done a better job of kind of moving them, or at least sitting down with these people ahead of time. And, you know, the solution that you came across, I think, is a good solution. I got good comments from people. But their other comment was, some of those, especially probably some of the smaller ones, really next to the polls and the whole thing, those people might not even have Facebook or even looked at it. And I thought, I wish we would at least contacted them and explain the situation and tell them you do have an option. Instead of just saying, well, we're gonna throw it in the same voice that sometimes I read and sometimes I don't. Most people probably don't unless they got a complaint. And then say, okay, and by the way, you have 24 hours to let us know. And I just don't think that was very considerate of us. But again, the project is outstanding, don't get me wrong on that. And it's really paying tribute to the people that are passed away and the people's loved ones that's in there. But at the same time, I wonder if I had a loved one with a stone up against that, and say even I was not living in Concordia, I came back to Memorial Day and had to squeeze in between that and to see my loved one's stone and pay respects, I could see where they're upset. And I wish that there was some way we could contact those people, because I don't think there's that many of them.
They've been contacted, haven't they?
No, they haven't.
We did not proactively contact people ahead.
No, but they were contacted by the American Legion, and they were contacted by Zach Gars.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not prior to the project.
No.
Not prior to the project,
No, just, we responded to those who presented us with concerns.
yeah. Yeah,
So, I mean, that's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Because it's a good project, and I think it got tarnished.
Yeah, trial by
because it's-
Facebook's not a good thing.
Because it's something that we could have avoided, and probably should have. That's it.
I don't have anything to see.
Just, in the cemetery thing, like I said, trial by Facebook and social media is not a good thing, because nobody ever gets all the information. And I've talked to the people that are doing the work out there and stopped out there and looked at it and stuff. And it's my opinion, it's got blown way out of proportion. And, but I take it very seriously. It's something that was unforeseen. Some of those things have been that close for a lot of years, and nothing was ever said. And it does look worse when it's dug up right in front of the grave, and the form is there and everything, but once the concrete is dry and it's flush with the ground and stuff, it does look a lot different. I think we've got a lesson learned. I think we've taken care of everything, and like I said, it's unfortunate it reached the proportions that it did before all the facts came out.
Are those poles, will they be telescope flush to the ground, or will they be 6 feet up?
They're gonna remain above
6
ground.
feet.
Well, then they aren't flush then. So they will always be in front of the.
No, I'm talking
tube.
about the concrete flush with the ground.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about the poles.
No, the poles are gonna be 6 feet
They'll
up.
always be in there,
Yeah,
okay.
and they're like this wide, so. Anyway, the other thing is that, again, the airport thing, great news,
That's fantastic.
great win, and a lot of work from everybody, and that's how it pays off. And appreciate it very much.
Can I just throw something, if that's all right?
Yeah.
Preaching to the choir, but I think this is a wonderful opportunity to try to echo, so maybe our friends in the media can put this out there. I think the city and the Avenue of Flags Committee did try to reach out and touch base with those who voiced concerns. I would really strongly encourage, as strongly as one might encourage, if citizens in this town have a concern, are worried about something, upset about something, I really honestly don't know what more we can do as a governing body, what we can do as office staff, what we can do as a community to be welcoming to that feedback, welcoming to those questions. I think once we were made aware that this is an issue, I think that the city did what it could. I think that there might be lessons certainly we can learn from this. But I would really, really invite folks out in Concordia, if you're upset about something, you're worried about something, please come talk to us, whether that be in public comments, which no one was here to make any comment with, to come approach a commissioner, which I wasn't approached by this before reading about it on Facebook. I don't know if staff members were aware of this before this blew up. I think we have a very responsive group trying to work in this community. I think that we take issues and complaints seriously. I don't think that folks are dismissed. We may not always go or address their concern the way they want to, but I think that they're always heard with earnestly and honestly. So, shout from the rooftop. We will hear your concern. Please let us know before, shaming by social media. We want to be responsive, and I think we have been. So, anyway, thanks.
I don't have anything this evening.
I really don't have anything, except I wanted to say thank you for coming up with a solution that probably addressed some of the concerns about the cemetery thing. And it's not a perfect solution, but at least there were some options presented, and I really do appreciate that. And I think everybody was working to be flexible, from what I could tell.
A really good team effort with the Avenue Flags Committee
Yeah.
and staff, so.
So, and I'm excited, I'm gonna miss the Avenue of Flags at Memorial Day, but surely they will be up again. So, I'm looking forward to that.
Still help come and fold them. That's a fun night.
Oh, yeah.
We can Skype.
I could. Maybe somebody can take a picture and post it on Facebook and I
There-
can see it.
There you go, there you
Yeah.
go.
I should share Joe Strucker, that was a part of the Avenue of Flags Committee that helped us, along with David Christensen, to come up with the solution. He did have a chance to visit with the reporter from Channel 12 that came up, and did invite her to come join us for the Avenue of Flags rededication for Memorial Weekend, and she is working, so it's a possibility that it may get some coverage in that way as well.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. If there's nothing else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Have a motion to adjourn from Keaton. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. This concludes the meeting.